Hey, I'm Carly Cylinder, and today we are making Winter Wonderland from the Flower Chef book. And today I'm using everything accessible in your kitchen. So for the containers, I'm using soup bowls, and then we have lots of good seasonal flowers that we're gonna use to mix it all up and create some really nice arrangements that you can make for really any occasion. So you'll need 3 soup bowls, and these are brown, but you can use any metallic or black. It goes with any color combination. And then I have 1 brick of floral foam. Now, I didn't even have this at my home, so I ran to the florist down the street and they sold me a brick for a few bucks. You can do that too. I'm going to cut the foam into thirds. I'm using a cheap florist knife, but you can use a steak knife or whatever else you have on hand. And now I'm going to start adding in the hydrangea first because that's the biggest and most bulky, and then we'll accent with leaves to get an asymmetrical shape. I have 6 stems of hydrangea, that's 2 for each bowl. I'm going to cut the stems at an angle, about 6 to 8 inches high. So there we go. And I'm removing any leaves from the bottom, as you can see. Oops, oh, that was a flower, but hey. I use my thumb and I bend it off. I kind of pretend like I'm cracking an egg with one hand. Once you remove the leaves, you want the stems to be about 4 or 5 inches so that it's just above the lip of the bowl. Remember, you can always cut shorter, but once they're cut, that's it. So I always veer on the long side. And I'm just sticking one in at the top and then one towards the side just to start to give it a bit of an asymmetrical shape. What's nice about making 3 arrangements is you kind of can get this assembly line going. So if you're making a ton of these for a party, it goes super fast. I have magnolia leaves here. These are fairly seasonal. They're usually around during the winter, and they have that shiny green side and that velvety brown side. I like using these because they add a lot of texture and you get that 2-tone color. If you don't have magnolia leaves, you can really use any green that you have around. I'm going to cut off 2 to 3 pieces and then add them in each. Again, this doesn't have to be exact. It's very asymmetrical, rustic, kind of wildflower, so you can kind of do what you want. As you can see, there's a bunch of leaves on the stem. I'm going to remove a few to elongate the stem. There we go. Cut the stem at an angle. And place into the foam. So I'll continue doing that with the rest of the vases. Again, I'm placing in the branches kind of wherever there's space and creating a little asymmetrical shape, and it kind of looks like a turkey Thanksgiving decoration to me. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but it will all come together. Okay. If there's any ugly brown leaves like this, I just pluck them off. The inspiration for this arrangement actually came from a wedding. I used a bunch of these really beautiful serving bowls for the vases and the centerpieces, and it looked great. So that is where that came from. So we have a beautiful base here. I always like to start with the base and then add in the smaller flowers or the most prominent flowers, which in this case are going to be the dark purple scabiosa. I have my sweet peas, and what I do is I'm going to measure it against the side of the vase to see how short I should cut it. I'm going to cut them all at once to save myself the hassle of cutting them one by one. And I'm going to evenly distribute them throughout each vase. I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. I want the flowers to be right above the hydrangea. Next up, I have these extra large Stars of Bethlehem. These are super long. Again, I'm going to give them all a cut. Quick little measure. So I eyeball it and I kind of see how long I want them, and I do want it to be a variety of heights between the hydrangeas and the sweet peas. As you can see, I'm angling them in. In design, it looks pretty weird if I was to put them straight up and down in the vase, and that's because that's all your eye would be drawn to. So instead, I like to slightly angle it go. Working with foam is nice because the flowers stay put right exactly where I place them. I call it training wheels for floral design. Today, instead of using Lysianthus, which is in the recipe and it is a year-round flower, I found these Scabiosa that are just coming into season. And I just love the dark plum burgundy color. It looks gorgeous, really, with any type of flower combination. I'm talking anything from vibrant, from really hot pinks and oranges to really soft pastels. This will make any combo pop. So same thing, I'm going to kind of cut them all together, and I'm gonna cluster a bunch when I put them in, because if I were to leave it as just this and place it around, it would look super polka dotty, and that's really weird. We don't want that in design. You want it to look nice. Oh, that guy. Since this is such a prominent color, you want to make sure it's balanced. There's no recipe for that. It really is just so it looks evenly balanced to the eye, and you want the color to go and kind of travel over the arrangement. So we have all the flowers in all of the 3 soup bowls, and I use pretty much everything. If you have tons of flowers, don't feel like you have to use all the flowers in your arrangement because it can be overdone. I'm gonna fill in any of the holes, so any of the exposed floral foam, with this eucalyptus. And there are many kinds of eucalyptus. This is silver dollar eucalyptus, I think. No, I'm kidding, it is. But it has these little baby bud flowers, seeds on the end, and just adds a really pretty touch. I'm cutting directly from the main branch, so I'm cutting smaller pieces off the main branch, and I'm going super fast. So I have all these little branches cut, and then I'm going to just remove leaves from about the bottom third. It would be nearly impossible to stick the stem into the foam with the leaves still on it, so that's why I'm doing that. It's my little magic trick. Strip it down like rosemary. I'm adding in the eucalyptus to fill in the holes. Now, something to remember is that often we're looking at the arrangement from the top or even a little bit lower, but if this is on a table and you're sitting for dinner, you're going to be able to see the foam. So really get down there and add in foliage to cover up anything so that your eye line is not seeing any of that foam. You can cut some pieces shorter, and that's if you just for aesthetic purposes, if you don't really want a long branch sticking out. So with the shorter pieces, I'll just kind of tuck it in towards the base, just so it goes along the lip of the bowl. What's nice about using these flowers and these bowls and any type of small arrangement really is that we're making 3 separate gifts. So you could do this for birthdays or the holidays, for just because. As you can see, I like to work fast. Don't overthink it, just add it in and then kind of fix it up later, and I promise you it's gonna turn out better that way. If you wanna break up some of the colors, you can add in a piece of the eucalyptus just straight into the hydrangea as well. If you wanna create shape, anything like that, accent it after. It's always the last step. Voila, here is 1 bowl of Winter Wonderland. And there we have it. This is Winter Wonderland. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.